folks, Dane, Jonah Guitars. I'm not going to show you the whole install on this pickup. There's just some interesting things about this specific one that I thought you might find interesting. This is the K&K Pure Mini. These are tremendous pickups. This particular system is passive. They do sell one that has a preamp that goes with it. The passive I've had great success with passive. Everybody that I've done one for really likes them. So this is a Taylor guitar. You could probably tell if you're into guitars by the bridge. This is a custom, what do they call this? They call this an R Taylor. So I don't know if it's actually made by Bob Taylor, or if it's the custom shop, if that's their custom shop name. Anyway, it's a beautiful guitar. It's got the arm bevel up here. For symmetry's sake, I'm not a fan of arm bevels. I like playing them because I don't like that sharp edge, but when you look at the guitar straight on, it's not symmetrical, and that kind of bothers me. It's got some nice diamond. I'm not showing you those. I mean, I'm not lined up with a camera on that. Anyway, I'm putting in the K&K. It's not a difficult installation once you've done it and you kind of get into your head. You've got these pins here that help you line up where the pickup goes. On the E string, they like it pretty much right on the E string. You can kind of vary to, in between a little bit, but they recommend being lined up more with the E string than anything. Then you put on some gel. Now you can tape these on. They give you two-sided tape to tape these on with. If you want to just set it up, if you're doing it like on a classic instrument, vintage instrument, you might not want to mount it permanently. They don't sound as good if you don't mount them permanently. So, and there is a little wedge of putty in between the plastic and the actual pickup. Now, generally, it's recommended to take a test drive with this thing and make sure you can get your hand in there. This guitar is almost a little too high for me. It's in there somewhere. Well, I saw it a second. I got to realign my hand. That's not working out just right. I don't know. There it is. So you come right up underneath the bridge plate, you drop the golf tee in, and you line up the slot so that you know you're coming right up to the bridge plate in the exact right place. Then you just hold it. Oh, you know what I've been doing, and I forgot this time, so I'll have to hold it a little longer. I've been taking a paper towel and spraying accelerator on it, and you wipe it on the bridge plate, and then when you put it in there, it grabs pretty quickly. They recommend, when you read the directions, they actually recommend letting it sit for half an hour before you try to twist that plate off of it, and with the putty and everything. But now that I forgot that. Okay. I usually hold it for 30 seconds to a minute, whether I sprayed it or not, and then or used accelerator. Then I put a mirror on just to make sure that the pickup is actually laying flat on the bridge plate. I have had them just not lay down right because the putty, for whatever reason, didn't flatten out. So I'm going to grab a mirror and check that. Let's see here. Looks like it's laying down on the bridge plate quite nicely. So while I'm letting this set longer than normal because of the accelerator issue, I could spray some on a paper towel. I wasn't going to show you the complete install. I just wanted to show you, first of all, this is a custom Taylor guitar. It had the expression system in it. The owner of the guitar was never happy with that. He had another tech take the old system out, and I suggested that it would be pretty easy just to keep the end plate. I'm going to move you around here. Originally, these guitars had an end plate. It housed the 9-volt battery and the plug-in for the guitar, and also the strap button. So I said, well, if you have the old one, we can just put it back in and still use it as a strap button and an input. You know, put the input jack right there. You'd be pretty quick. He said that he got the little volume tone knobs for the expression system. He got those back, but he didn't get the insert. So I made one out of ebony, and it is going to go right in like that. So the end pin will come right out of here, and the end pin has the strap, you know, button on it. Anyway, that'll just get glued in there. There are a couple little teeny screw holes there, and I guess that's all that held the other part in. But I actually trust the glue more than I would trust. Yeah, you know what I mean. I would trust the glue more than I would trust these two little teeny screws. I could probably do both, but what would be the point of screwing it if you couldn't unscrew it and pop it out? So that's an ebony end plate for this Taylor guitar that's going to house the jack, the output jack, and be glued in there. It's going to look pretty slick. And then I also made 3 little buttons that I just oiled, so I can't show this to you, out of ebony for the front end, for up top where the volume tone controls were. I posted pictures on Instagram, which automatically load to Facebook, which of a Fender acoustic guitar top and my acoustic guitar that I'm building currently. And it had, the Fender top had extremely wide grain on top, and I'm hoping you can see this. It has relatively okay grain here. It's kind of wide even here, but as soon as you get out here, it's really wide. And the Fender top was wide everywhere, and hopefully you can see that this grain, even when you get all the way out to the edge here, is narrower than the grain that was in the center of the Taylor. And like I said, the Fender guitar had grain that was so wide, it was really, really quite surprising. The grain is only an issue if you don't build to suit the strength of the top. And with factory guitars, I mean, this is, like I said, it's the R Taylor series, so I don't know if these tops are just run to a certain thickness, or if they flex each top and brace accordingly for the thickness of the top and the flexibility of the top, or if it's just shoved through like every other top at the Taylor factory or the Fender factory. So if you leave the top heavier and you brace heavier to, you know, add support to this wider grain pattern, then you're all good. It's not, it doesn't really matter how wide your grain pattern is, or probably even if you use flat sawn wood like Koa tops. All those figured Koa tops are flat sawn. So, but the top I got, I think I got lucked out. I got a couple tops from these guys at Woodmade here in Canada, and I really liked the quality of the top. And as you saw on the one I just showed you, it did have some very nice grain, very well quartered. So you have the little medullary rays that were showing in that top, and then also had some bear claw in it, which it wasn't sold as bear claw. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and continue with this, put this guitar together, and get it out of here. But I just wanted to show you this little how they go in with, you know, the little cleat they send you to help install it. It's like I said, it's not difficult. If you want to see this, I've done it, probably 2 other videos on complete installs on these K&K Pure Minis. And yeah, so if you're interested in seeing a full install on those, look one of those up. One other thing I wanted to add real quick, I almost forgot about it. So I had ordered unslotted pins for this bridge. I just watched Eric Schaefer video. They were talking about slotted, unslotted pins, and you can use either. More traditionally, the older guitars came with non-slotted pins, and what they did was they took a little saw like this, which is Eric was just showing one that you can buy at StewMac, which almost looks identical to this. And all I did was take a jigsaw blade and drill a hole and epoxy it into here, or actually super glued it into here. And I will be grinding the thickness off of it a little bit, like I did on this one. I actually ground this one on the thickness of the blade itself and the depth of the thickness on that, and I haven't put a handle on it yet. But anyway, so because I want, you know, you don't need as wide as slots on the E and the B and even the G string, but on the larger diameter strings you can use a wider saw. Anyway, the reason I decided to turn the camera on again was that I was going to use non-slotted pins on this, but I've laid out my pickup just like the other Mini that I just installed in the Taylor, and it's going to be pretty close clearancing on the string balls. So I decided to go ahead and use slotted pins on this, and that way the string ball will be closer to the pin rather than pushed in front of the pin. If you put a non-slotted pin in there, the ball has to be completely in front of the pin, whereas when you use it slotted, the ball can drop back that way a little bit. And so I'm going to go ahead and use slotted pins on this because I don't want to interfere with the pickup. In the center, mainly on the E string would be the issue, because it's not quite the clearance problem on between the G and the D and the E and the A. So, but I've decided to go ahead and use slotted in this case. I'm still going to ramp, still going to do a slight string ramp, but it doesn't go all the way through the soundboard and all the way through the bridge plate. Just up on top, basically, just so it's not coming straight up out of the hole and then bending. It gives it a little bit of a little roll, so it's not a sharp bend. Anyway, I just wanted to add that little bit. All right, if you stuck it out, thanks, folks.